All right, so we've got this whole stack of research here all about fructose.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like we're going deep on this one.
Yeah.
We've got this recent article from a medical journal, and then this interesting editorial from Dr. Praveen Ramachandra.
Right.
So we're really going to unpack how this common sugar that seems so innocent
Yeah.
actually impacts our health.
Yeah. It's fascinating how our relationship with sugar has really transformed over time.
Yeah.
It wasn't always this like ubiquitous ingredient like it is today.
Right. I was reading how sugar cane was once like a luxury, a delicacy.
Wow.
Imagine Alexander the Great's soldiers when they first encountered it in India, they called it.
Oh, wow.
The reed that gives honey without bees
Yeah.
must seem magical.
It really highlights the shift in our consumption habits. I mean,
Yeah,
would you say that the introduction of high-fructose corn syrup in the 1960s was like a turning point?
absolutely. HFCS revolutionized the food industry. Cheap, incredibly sweet, dissolves easily, so it became like the go-to ingredient for so many processed foods and drinks.
Right.
It's everywhere, but I think this widespread use is really where the concern starts, right?
Yeah. You've hit on a crucial point.
Yeah.
While moderate amounts of naturally occurring fructose in fruits and vegetables isn't harmful,
Right.
the sheer volume of HFCS we consume through processed foods is a completely different story.
Okay, so let's break down the science a little bit here. How is fructose metabolized differently than glucose?
Okay.
Because it seems like our bodies handle these in very different ways.
That's a great question. So fructose actually bypasses some key regulatory steps that glucose goes through.
Hmm.
It's like taking a shortcut in the metabolic pathway.
Okay.
And this leads to a process called de novo lipogenesis,
Hmm.
which is essentially unchecked fat production.
So too much fructose can lead to more fat storage.
Right.
And I remember reading that the liver plays a pretty big role in all this.
Yes.
Isn't the liver hit particularly hard by excess fructose?
Spot on. The first pass effect is really key here.
Okay.
Almost 70% of the fructose we consume is metabolized by the liver,
Okay.
compared to only 15 to 30% of glucose.
Okay.
So this makes the liver like a primary target for fructose's effects.
It's like a fructose overload for the liver.
Right.
And Dr. Ramachandra put it so well in his editorial. He says, what we consume shapes us not just physically, but metabolically.
Right.
It makes you realize that food choices aren't just about calories,
Yeah,
but really how our bodies function on like a deeper level.
exactly. His words really underscore the serious health implications we're seeing today.
Yeah.
And this overconsumption of fructose has been linked to the rise of various metabolic disorders
Yeah.
that go way beyond simple weight gain.
Right. We're talking obesity, type 2 diabetes, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. The list goes on, and it's not just about the liver, is it?
No.
It seems like fructose can disrupt other systems in the body as well.
Yeah, that's an excellent observation.
Huh?
One area of concern is the impact on our gut health.
Mm-hmm.
Fructose can disrupt the balance of bacteria in our gut, leading to a condition called gut dysbiosis.
Wait, gut bacteria. So fructose impacts our digestion.
Oh, yeah.
I hadn't really connected those dots before.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This disruption to the gut microbiome
Mm.
can trigger inflammation throughout the body.
Mm.
It's all connected.
Wow.
Glucose's reach goes way beyond the liver, impacting our overall health in really profound ways.
So the gut is like the central hub
Yes,
that influences so many different aspects of our well-being.
it is.
This is making me reconsider that second can of soda. I'll tell you that.
It's definitely something to be mindful of.
Yeah,
And that's just the beginning.
Oh, boy.
There's also emerging research on the connection between excessive fructose intake and hypertension.
Really? How does fructose affect blood pressure?
So one theory is that fructose increases uric acid levels, which impacts blood vessel function, and it activates the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, a key player in blood pressure regulation.
All right, that's a little technical for me, but the takeaway is fructose might be contributing to high blood pressure. It seems like there's this ripple effect throughout the body.
Yeah, you got it. What we're finding is that excessive fructose might even be linked to cardiomyopathy,
Oh, wow.
a type of heart muscle disease.
Okay.
This connection has been observed in animal studies, which raises some important questions for us.
Cardiomyopathy. That sounds serious. Are there other health risks associated with fructose that we should be aware of?
Well, there's also growing concern about a potential link between high fructose intake and an increased risk of certain cancers,
Oh, no.
particularly in the gastrointestinal tract.
Okay, this is starting to feel a little alarming.
Yeah.
What's the connection between fructose and cancer? Is there a clear explanation?
While more research is needed, some scientists believe that oxidative stress and insulin resistance
Okay.
might be the culprits. Both of these are fueled by excessive fructose consumption.
So it's like fructose creates this environment within our bodies
Right.
where cancer cells might thrive. That's a sobering thought.
It's a complex issue, and more research is needed to fully understand the mechanisms.
Yeah.
But it certainly highlights the importance of understanding how our dietary choices impact our long-term health.
But hold on a second. Doesn't fructose occur naturally in fruits?
Right.
Are you suggesting we should avoid fruits altogether? That seems extreme.
That's a crucial point.
Huh?
It's not about demonizing all fructose.
Okay.
The fructose found in whole fruits and vegetables is not the problem.
Okay, good. I was about to swear off my fruit salad forever.
No need for that. The fructose in whole fruits and vegetables is packaged with fiber
Right.
and other essential nutrients. Plus, the amounts are generally much lower
Yeah.
than what you'd find in processed foods loaded with added sugars.
So it's all about context and balance. It's not the fruit itself, but the processed forms of fructose that we need to be wary of.
Exactly. It's the added sugars like HFCS that are the real culprits here.
All right, so how can we make more informed choices about our fructose intake?
Yeah.
Where do we even begin?
Dr. Ramachandra makes a really powerful call to action in his editorial.
Yeah.
He stresses the need for public health interventions, better education, and clearer food labeling
Right.
to empower people to make healthier choices.
I agree. We need to equip people with the knowledge to understand the potential risks
Yes,
of excessive fructose consumption. It shouldn't feel like a guessing game when we're at the grocery store.
absolutely. As Dr. Ramachandra reminds us, health is built not by what we avoid, but by what we nurture. Let us choose wisely at the table. For every choice writes a chapter in our metabolic story.
Whoa.
It's about understanding that each dietary decision has this ripple effect on our well-being.
Those are powerful words to live by. So what does all of this mean for you, our listener? You've just gained a deeper understanding of how fructose, especially in its processed forms, can impact your metabolic health.
It's like we've peeled back the layers to reveal this complex world of sugar metabolism and its far-reaching consequences.
Yeah.
But this knowledge is empowering.
It's true. Knowledge is power, and now you have the information to start making more informed choices about what you eat and drink.
Exactly.
Now that we've laid the groundwork, I want to kind of circle back to something you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
That potential link between fructose and cancer,
Right.
it's a concerning thought, to say the least.
It is something that warrants our attention.
Yeah.
While more research is needed to really fully grasp the intricacies of this link, evidence is mounting that a high fructose intake could heighten the risk of certain cancers,
Oh.
especially those in the gastrointestinal tract.
It's unsettling, to be honest. Could you elaborate a bit more on the potential mechanisms at play here?
Sure.
Like, what's going on at the cellular level?
So one key factor is oxidative stress. Fructose metabolism can generate these reactive oxygen species, which are essentially unstable molecules capable of damaging cells and even our DNA. This damage can create a pathway for cancer development.
So it's like fructose is creating this internal environment where cancer cells can actually gain a foothold and multiply.
That's a good way to visualize it.
Yeah.
And then we have the issue of insulin resistance,
Right.
which we discussed earlier. When cells become resistant to insulin, it can lead to chronically elevated blood sugar levels,
Yeah.
which can further fuel cancer growth.
It sounds like fructose might be setting the stage for cancer development in multiple ways.
Yes.
It's like a multi-pronged attack, so to speak.
Exactly. And some research even suggests that fructose might directly promote the growth of existing tumors by activating specific signaling pathways involved in cell growth and proliferation.
This information really underscores the importance of dietary choices. I mean, it's not just about weight management. It's about potentially influencing the very course of our health.
Absolutely. The good news is we have the power to make changes and reduce our risk. By being conscious of our diet and limiting added sugars, we can take these proactive steps to protect our metabolic health.
This deep dive is making me rethink my relationship with sugar.
Yeah.
I'm seeing those sugary drinks in a whole new light now.
Awareness is key.
Yeah.
Once you understand the potential impact of excessive fructose, it's only natural to start making changes that support your well-being.
You mentioned earlier that high fructose intake might also be linked to cardiomyopathy.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? What exactly is cardiomyopathy?
Sure.
And how does fructose fit into the picture?
Cardiomyopathy is a disease of the heart muscle that hinders its ability to pump blood effectively.
Okay.
Animal studies have shown that rats fed a high fructose diet develop systolic dysfunction,
Okay.
a form of heart failure, where the heart struggles to contract and pump blood properly.
So fructose could be directly damaging the heart muscle.
That's what the research suggests.
Wow.
Though it's important to acknowledge that these findings come from animal studies,
Right.
more research is needed to confirm whether the same effects apply to humans.
Sure.
Nevertheless, the results are compelling enough to warrant further investigation.
Beyond these animal studies, are there other potential mechanisms linking fructose to heart problems?
Well, there are a few other theories.
Yeah.
For instance, we know that high fructose intake can lead to metabolic syndrome,
Yeah.
a cluster of conditions that increase the risk of heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes.
And those conditions include things like high blood pressure,
Right.
high cholesterol, abdominal obesity, right?
Yeah.
Sounds like a cascade of negative effects.
Precisely. Fructose appears to contribute to all of these factors, further amplifying the risk of heart problems.
Yeah.
It's like a domino effect, with one problem paving the way for the next.
And then there's the role of uric acid, which we touched upon earlier.
Right.
High levels of uric acid in the blood can lead to hyperuricemia, a condition linked to heart disease.
Exactly. It seems that fructose might be impacting the heart from multiple angles. It's crucial to remember that our bodies are these complex systems with everything interconnected. What we consume can have a profound impact on our overall health.
This deep dive has been a real eye-opener. I'm starting to truly grasp
Yeah.
the extent to which our diet influences our well-being.
And that's a powerful realization.
It is.
By making informed choices about what we consume,
Yeah.
we can take control of our metabolic health and reduce our risk of developing these serious conditions.
So where do we go from here? What concrete steps can our listener take to protect themselves from the potential dangers of fructose?
The first step is always awareness.
Yeah.
Now that you understand the potential risks of excessive fructose consumption, you can start making more conscious choices
Right.
about what you eat and drink. It's about being an informed consumer.
So it all boils down to reading labels carefully.
Yes,
And being mindful of added sugars. It's like detective work at the grocery store.
that's right. Avoid processed foods and beverages loaded with high fructose corn syrup. Whenever possible, choose whole, unprocessed foods.
What about fruit? We've established that fructose from whole fruits is okay in moderation,
Right.
but how much is too much? Where do we draw the line?
That's a great question. While fruit is undoubtedly a healthy part of a balanced diet,
Yeah.
it's still important to be mindful of your overall sugar intake. A good rule of thumb is to stick to 2 to 3 servings of fruit per day.
That makes sense. And what about those quote-unquote healthy sweeteners like agave and honey?
Right.
Are they truly a better choice than high fructose corn syrup?
Okay.
It can be so confusing.
While these sweeteners might seem like healthier alternatives, they are still sugars
Right.
and should be consumed in moderation. They can have similar metabolic effects as other forms of sugar, especially when consumed in excess.
Mm.
It's not about demonizing all sweeteners, but about being aware of their impacts and
Yeah.
making informed choices.
So it really comes down to moderation and being a discerning consumer.
Mhm.
We have the power to make healthier choices.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And don't underestimate the power of exercise.
Oh, yeah.
Regular physical activity can help improve insulin sensitivity and reduce your risk of developing metabolic disorders.
So it's a combination of diet and lifestyle changes that can really make a difference.
Yeah,
It's about taking a holistic approach to our health.
precisely. And remember, small changes can have a significant impact over time.
Yeah.
Start by gradually reducing your intake of added sugars and incorporating more whole foods into your diet.
This has been an incredibly informative deep dive. I'm feeling much more knowledgeable about fructose and its impact on our health.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, it's a lot to process.
I understand. It's a complex topic, but
Yeah.
knowledge is the first step toward making positive changes.
Well said. So what's the key takeaway for our listener? What's the message you want to leave them with?
Okay.
As we move towards the conclusion of this deep dive, it seems like we've really focused on the negative impacts of excessive fructose.
Yeah.
But is there a flip side to this?
Oh, absolutely.
What are the potential benefits of reducing our fructose intake? It would be great to end on a positive note.
That's a fantastic question. And you're right, it's important to highlight the positive aspects as well.
Yeah.
While the research on fructose's harmful effects is robust, there's growing evidence that lowering your fructose consumption can have a range of positive effects beyond just weight management.
Okay.
It's not just about avoiding the negative, it's about embracing the positive changes that can happen.
That's encouraging. What kind of benefits are we talking about specifically?
Well, some studies suggest that reducing fructose intake could improve insulin sensitivity, leading to better blood sugar control.
Mm.
This is particularly important for people at risk of or already living with type 2 diabetes.
So cutting back on fructose could be a key strategy for managing blood sugar levels.
Exactly.
It sounds like a simple yet powerful intervention.
And there's also evidence that reducing fructose might positively impact blood pressure and cholesterol levels,
Okay.
both major risk factors for heart disease.
That makes sense given what we've learned about fructose's connection to hypertension and metabolic syndrome.
Right.
It's like addressing the root cause rather than just managing the symptoms.
You've hit the nail on the head. And beyond the cardiovascular benefits, some studies indicate that reducing fructose could improve liver health, reducing fatty liver disease, and improving liver function.
So it's like hitting the reset button on our metabolic health.
Yeah.
By reducing fructose, we're giving our bodies a chance to repair and function more optimally.
That's a great way to think about it.
Yeah.
And remember how we talked about fructose disrupting the balance of gut bacteria?
Yeah.
Reducing your intake could help restore a healthy gut microbiome, which means less inflammation
Right.
and better digestive function.
Yes. That was a real eye-opener.
Yeah.
It's amazing to think that something as simple as reducing fructose could have such a positive ripple effect throughout the body.
It is remarkable, isn't it?
Right.
We often get caught up in what we need to eliminate from our diets, but it's equally important to consider what we stand to gain
Yeah.
by making healthier choices.
It's a shift in perspective from deprivation to abundance. Instead of focusing on what we're giving up, we can focus on the positive changes we're inviting into our lives.
That's the spirit.
Yeah.
As you move forward, think about not only the potential harms of excessive fructose,
Right.
but also the incredible benefits that await you on the other side of reducing your intake. It's about reclaiming your health and feeling your best.
This deep dive has certainly provided a lot to think about, but it's also left me feeling incredibly hopeful. It's empowering to know that we have more control over our health than we might realize.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every choice we make at the table is an opportunity to write a healthier, more vibrant chapter in our metabolic story. It's about making choices that align with our well-being.
That's a powerful message to end on. It's time for us to wrap up this deep dive.
Yeah, okay.
But we hope the conversation continues. We've explored the complexities of fructose,
Yes.
its potential harms, and the incredible benefits of making more mindful choices.
Right.
Remember, knowledge is power. We encourage you to use this information to make informed decisions about your fructose intake.
Yeah.
And to continue exploring this topic further. There's always more to learn.
Absolutely.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep diving deep.